Hey guys, welcome back to All Coffee No Tea. As always, this is CB reporting to you not so live from a cabin in the woods. This is the second cup, a bi-weekly or whenever the F I feel like it series that covers stories we talked about in previous videos, because the first cup was not enough to cover all that drama. Quick disclaimer, please do not leave anyone mentioned in this video harassing comments. That is not what this channel is about. We do not stand being a jerk. Please do your own research. I am not a deity, even though I know I sound like one. I don't know everything. So please do your own research and don't harass anyone, and generally, please don't be a mean baloney head. Thank you. So today we have got to talk about a multitude of Trisha Paytas updates, including a major clarification on the whole Jaclyn Hill, Trisha Paytas Instagram rant. And then we have the Frenemies podcast potentially ending. We have an update on the Trisha exposing a TikToker for scamming people drama. And then also a small update on the James Charles merch drama. So in the recent Frenemies podcast, the 5th episode and potentially the last, titled Trisha and Ethan have a huge fight and she storms out, Frenemies number 5, Trisha goes off the rails in many ways, including spilling the full story on multiple dramas. The first and major one that is a big update, she really clarifies the specifics of the whole Jaclyn Hill drama. In that Instagram rant, she was just like not being super clear. She was in a rare form on this podcast, and she really let every detail air out on this Jaclyn Hill situation. She said that John Hill signed an NDA and is divorced from Jaclyn Hill. This whole situation sparked from John telling Trisha details of his relationship with Jaclyn, about which Trisha eventually, months and months later, talked about on her Dish with Trish podcast. After that story got picked up by all the drama channels, Jaclyn must have threatened to sue her ex-husband, John Hill. He must have gone to Trisha and been like, hey, please stop, she's gonna sue me, and then she went off on her IG story. Because I'm sure in Trisha's mind, if she's talking about it and being loud about it, then Jaclyn likely won't because of potential hate she might get. But in the IG story, she said Jaclyn was going after the little guys, meaning multiple people. I wonder if there's anyone else Jaclyn has threatened, or if John is the little guy she was referring to. So there's a few more details that Trisha spills about the whole Jaclyn Hill situation in this Frenemies episode. One being that Jaclyn Hill apparently said that she was going to sue Trisha for the whole IG story rant. We definitely saw that coming though. The entire podcast is basically just Ethan looking up people that Trisha brings up in conversation. He doesn't know anybody. Like, he literally was like, Jaclyn Hill, who's she? But anyways, he asked her if Trisha had sex with John Hill, and at first she was like, no, and then she was like, oh yeah, totally. And he was like, well, of course she hates you then. That's when Trisha started really going in, saying that Jaclyn cheated on John with his best friend, and then Jaclyn kicked John out of the house. And Jaclyn apparently thinks that John told Trisha all of this, but Trisha says that if you go in the photos of her current boyfriend, he was friends with her ex-husband years before, and she's probably just saying this to cover her bases, or cover his bases really, so that it looks like she came to these conclusions on her own, but it seems like John probably told her this. Apparently Farnham, Jaclyn's boyfriend, used to film her videos when she was still with John, and now Farnham lives in the house that she had with John, which is like, ooh. Trisha says that she ruined John's life because she told his girlfriend that he cheated on her with Trisha. So they all are just class acts in this situation. So this whole Jaclyn, Trisha, John Hill thing can be summed up with everyone sucks. I don't love talking about Jeffrey, but I did bring him up in relation to the whole Jaclyn Hill, Trisha thing. In the Frenemies podcast, she does mention that Jeffrey unfollowed her, and that when the drama channels picked it up, she unfollowed him as a response. She's not really sure why it happened or anything. So later in the episode, Trisha goes the F off on Ethan after he calls her crazy. She really goes in hard on him and outs that he has had problems with pills in the past. He later clarifies that it was low-grade pain pills when he was bored living in Israel when he was much younger. I will say Trisha does freak out when anybody talks about her history with drugs, and I feel like if the situation were reversed, she would have an even bigger freak out than she did. This argument in the podcast goes on forever. It's like a half an hour. I liked that he really confronted Trisha, saying that Trisha weaponizes personal information, which is true, but I think the show, the whole premise is frenemies, and the whole point is that he pushes her and pushes her and pushes her until she freaks out, and we've finally gotten to that point. Trisha does point out like, oh, it's all joking around until I say something about you. Ethan is pushed and pushed and pushed, and then when Trisha pushes back just a little bit, he's like, oh, ow, that hurt, I was just playing, why can't you just play? Moral of the story, don't get in a bitch fest with someone who grew up as a girl in the 90s because she will emotionally fillet you like a fish. Before we move on from Frenemies, I want to just quickly mention that Ethan dressed up as James Charles on the 4th episode of the Frenemies podcast. The costume was pretty hilarious and really really well done because he got Trisha's hair and makeup people. If you don't know, James Charles did a lie detector test video, and a huge part of it is saying that he didn't rip off Teddy Fresh and it's like not a lie. And Trisha says that guy basically is just like, what answers do you want? Lie detector tests are not even really accurate to begin with. I always thought that he was just doing whatever script they gave him, but Ethan seemed to be pretty shocked by it. It might seem on the outside like a very small aspect of Trisha and Ethan's falling out, but I think the costumes were the beginning of the end for Frenemies, because it was Trisha's idea for doing costumes on Frenemies because she's already dressing up every day as someone new in October, which is like, damn, that is dedication. Ethan topped her with this incredible costume of James Charles, and then again went on to top her with this wild costume as Uncle Fester. He literally even shaved his head and eyebrows, and I feel like it just really ticked her off. She's like, this is my idea. I literally just told you to be nice, and then you like take my idea and go like way over the top and then don't even warn me or include me, which he completely disagrees with. It does seem like Ethan and Hila are trying to get Trisha back, and it must have worked because H3 tweeted that Ethan and Trisha already talked it out and she will be appearing on the next podcast. I wonder if he finally gave in and gave her a portion of the highlights, which she's brought up in every single podcast. Just an update and a quick thank you to commenter Malibu for linking me to the person that Trisha was likely talking about with the TikTok scam. His name is Pharaoh, and he did a giveaway TikTok where he said that he wanted to give away $500 for some milestone of followers, and that if the engagement was good, then he would raise it to 1,000. And I see that that's probably good intentions, but when you do a giveaway, by law, you have to state the terms and conditions up front and adhere to those. He did say to participate, you have to follow, not subscribe. So Trisha was confused on that. It did not cost $5 to enter, so Pharaoh wasn't breaking any major laws. He just shouldn't have said the thing about raising it depending on engagement, because that's not setting clear official rules for the giveaway. Those are all the updates that I have for this video. So what are your thoughts on Trisha Paytas telling all the details on Jaclyn Hill? What did you think about her half-hour fight with Ethan? Do you think this was all staged? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right, guys, that wraps up my second cup. I just finished my last sip. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video and leave a comment telling me what you thought. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and maybe even hitting that alert bell if you want to get emails when I upload. So that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. All right, my last sip is done and I gotta go live my life. I hope you guys have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.